What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the new free agent that has just become available, and that is Takk Mckinley from the Atlanta Falcons, and whether or not Detroit Lions should be interested in trying to make him a Detroit Lion. Let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome in, everybody, to another video. Glad you guys are here, and yes, we're talking about this brand new free agent, Takk Mckinley, the former edge defender and edge rusher for the Atlanta Falcons that really just wanted out of Atlanta. If you don't know who he is, it's kind of what I just said. He's a pass rusher. He's an edge rusher from the Atlanta Falcons. He was drafted 4 years ago in the first round. Yeah, he was a 26th pick in the NFL draft.
I told her before she passed away, I was going to live my dream. I was going to go D1. I was going to get out of Richmond. I was going to get out of Oakland. I was going to go to the NFL. I made that promise to her, man. 30 seconds later, she passed away. And this is what I do it for. This is who I do it for, man. Come on, man. Damn. Get to the damn quarterback. We don't get to the quarterback.
Go back and watch the clip from him on draft night. The guy was super pumped. He was super passionate. You just loved the energy he was giving off. He's actually kind of famous because he dropped the F-bomb, you know, on TV, and it was like, okay, hey, don't do that. But, you know, he didn't care. He said, find me later. He said, find me later. I don't care. He was hyped up to be drafted. However, his relationship with the Atlanta Falcons really hasn't been that great. Now, in his first 2 seasons, I don't know how bad it was, but I do know this. In his first 2 seasons, he put up some good numbers. I mean, 6-sack season and 7-sack season. I mean, that's pretty darn solid. But in the last 2 years, his production's dipped just a little bit, and also he's dealt with some injuries, and he seemingly made it obvious that he wants out of Atlanta. And we saw that this year on social media. We actually saw it last year as well. Last year, Takk Mckinley reportedly wanted out of Atlanta. And it was reported that the Falcons were declining second-round offers at the trade deadline. Takk Mckinley, they were declining those, and he wanted out. So I don't know if those are 100% true. Obviously, the rumors and reports and things like that, we don't know if they're 100% true, and we don't know exactly where they came from. But that was the idea. And then this year, on this year's trade deadline, Takk Mckinley says, hey, they're declining 5th and 6th round picks for me, and I want out. That's what he was saying. And Morris like, man, you're not handling this right. You're going on social media doing all this. And they talked to him, and now they eventually released him. And for the Falcons side of things, I honestly get it. I know Adam Schefter said he was shocked. I get it. I get why they would do this because, look, if the relationship's bad, if it's toxic, if you're not playing him that much, if he's injured, it doesn't really make sense to keep him on the team. You might as well just cut your loss at that point. They declined his 5th-year option anyways. But now he's available. And maybe a change of scenery is the right place for him. Now, obviously, you know, he'd have to want to come to Detroit to make the signing because if he doesn't want to be here, then, of course, it's not going to happen because, you know, he won't sign the contract unless you give him an extreme amount of money, but that probably won't happen. He would have to want to come here and be willing to come here as well. And it's reported there's going to be several teams that are interested in Takk Mckinley, so it may not be super likely that the Lions could pull this off. Should the Lions be at least interested, at least try to make this signing, this former first-round pick? Now, I think there's definitely some major red flags here, but I think there's also some green flags. You know, no one ever says green flags, but green's like the opposite of red or something. And maybe it's blue. I don't know. Either way, there's definitely some good I see, and there's also some reasons for concern with signing him. But usually when I look at free agents, I usually am to the side of, yeah, I don't really feel like I usually don't see a lot of free agents that I want to sign. But this one, for some reason, I'm starting to lean toward the side of yes, a little bit more than no. Like, there's definitely still a side of me that says, yes, I don't know if this would fit. But there's a little side of me that says yes. So we're going to start off with the pros, the reasons that you would sign him, in my opinion, and then the reasons that maybe you'd want to stay away from him, okay? The first one is actually what the Lions have right now, and that's the injuries that they're dealing with. Now, Takk Mckinley has dealt with some injuries. He's only played in 81 defense snaps. He's had some groin injuries. So you're probably not going to get a guy that's super healthy, right? You're going to have him miss some time. But still, more bodies you would think would be the move, right? Because if you look at the Lions right now, if you look at where the Lions are sitting, with Trey Flowers on IR, with Julian Okwara, we don't know when he's going to return. Those are 2 big pieces, right? Trey Flowers, obviously a huge piece. Julian Okwara was starting to get involved. And Takk Mckinley maybe could just help out for the rest of the season. Now, the Lions did return Austin Bryant, which is nice. But that's something that I'm looking into because I'm saying, okay, you know, maybe he can help out a little bit, right? He could be some kind of rotational piece for the Lions. We know the pass rush hasn't been the best this season. And I think we could definitely use a pass rusher. Bob Quinn said himself, you never have enough pass rushers. And me putting myself in Bob Quinn's shoes, like, hey, I mean, shoot, maybe we should just go try to do it because we need to win football games. And if he's there and he can help us get any type of pass rush, it might be the move. The next thing that I like about him is I think he actually fits the scheme really, really well. He's played in a multiple D basically with the Atlanta Falcons, a 4-2-5, things like that. But he's usually a guy that likes to stand up. He likes to stand up on the defensive line, and he can play in a multiple D. Why? Because he has a size. He's 6'2", 265 pounds, similar to Trey Flowers, but he's super athletic. I mean, he looks like a linebacker playing the edge position. That's what he looks like. Super fast for his size. and he can be placed at different spots. When I think of the Lions, and I think of, okay, what do they do on third downs? When they go to their linebacker sets, they only got like one defense lineman, that's when we can see this guy get involved. But I see him involved on other downs. I just think, okay, maybe he could potentially fit their scheme and what they're looking for. The problem is that he probably wouldn't have a huge role here. He'd definitely be a rotational piece, and he would have to be willing to live with being a rotational piece. And obviously, you just traded for Everson Griffin, but now that he's a free agent, you don't have to give up any picks. It would just be some money for now to get Takk McKinley, depending on what kind of contract he is looking for. But I love his passion, and I think that's what the Lions really do need defensively. I mean, I know there's a difference between having passion and, just being loud, and then there's a difference between that and a leader, right? You don't have to be super loud to be a leader. This guy's maybe just loud. Maybe he's not much of a leader, right? If you went out, he probably didn't lead the best way by example there. But he is a very passionate player that is very loud. It kind of reminds me of Everson Griffin. And looking at our defense right now, would it be the worst thing to try it? I don't think so. I don't think it'd be the worst thing to try it. Maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe it wouldn't be the right fit. But, I mean, honestly, I see our defense, and I think maybe we need some of that. Maybe we need some of those energy guys. I mean, you look at some of the greatest defenses in NFL history, a lot of times they have those energy guys. And I think Duron Harmon's one of those. I think, that's one of the only ones. Without Trey Flowers, who's kind of your leader, Everson Griffin kind of brings some of that. But I don't really see a guy like that. Like, we have guys like Collins, like Trufant, who will do their job and keep quiet. Okuda quiet. Amani quiet. But I see a guy like Takk McKinley who's loud. He's just getting in your face. This is the kind of guy to hype you up. And you put him and Everson Griffin on the same team, I could see potential there. I could really see it. Another strength on the field, he's a great pass rusher. I mean, he is just so explosive. I mean, it's off the snap. He'll run over guys just because of explosiveness. He's just super fast. He's the example of a speed rusher, and you can also drop him into the flats because of his speed, and he can kind of keep up with running backs. I mean, you just don't see his athleticism. You don't see guys like this come available after the trade deadline at 25 years old. It's just not normal. That's why there's going to be so many people interested. Even if he's had some relationship issues with the team that he's been with, he usually wouldn't be available. Now, some of my concerns, clearly the injuries, right? The groin injuries, right? That's something that obviously concerning. When you're dealing with type of injuries this year that's making you miss a lot of time. Illness. So he's only played in a few weeks this season. So who knows how healthy he'd be even if he came to Detroit. But is it worthwhile just trying to take the risk and see if he can give you something? Maybe. The injuries, obviously him not wanting to be somewhere. Maybe if he comes here, he wouldn't want to be here. But I'm assuming if he signs here, he'd be willing to play here, right? If he signs here, he knows what he's getting himself into, and he knows the position the Lions are in. So I think for the Lions side of things, I could see putting myself in Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn's shoes, saying, hey, look, you know what? At this point, defensively, let's just try it. Let's try it. Let's see if we can add some type of energy. And if it doesn't work for us, we'll just cut the dude loose. I mean, seriously, just don't sign him to a long-term contract or something like that. Don't give him a monster deal. And then on the other side of things, I see, okay, well, we're getting Austin Bryant back. We got some guys back. Maybe we should just let those guys continue to play. But putting myself in their shoes, maybe they're looking for the more, help us right now. And I think he fits the defense. I love the energy that he gets off. I just think there's definitely some concerns with maybe his character and personality, but honestly, I don't think it's a bad personality. He wanted out, right? Some players went out. Look at Everson Griffin. We traded for him. Everson Griffin wanted out of Dallas, okay? He didn't want to be there. It was pretty obvious Everson Griffin wasn't the most happy. Maybe he handled it a little bit differently. Jaron Curse wasn't happy with Minnesota when he left. This kind of thing happens all the time. Look, Yannick, he wanted out, and look at him. He ended up with the Ravens. The Ravens said, you know what, we'll bring him in. We'll make it happen. That's kind of what's going on with Takk McKinley here. So what would be the harm in making this signing? I really don't think there's too big of a harm here. I mean, I don't think it's going to destroy your locker room. Your locker room's, I don't know what their locker room looks like, but I know they're 3-5. If you look at what the Lions did this offseason, maybe they expected to get a little bit more from certain players. Maybe your Nick Williams, they expected more. But they expected more from Julian Okoye. It's not all their fault with injuries, but during the season, like we saw, they were willing to go out and get Everson Griffin. They were willing to say, hey, you know what, we need to add some help here. And now, once again, maybe you could be willing to say, look, we have 8 games left. Matt Patricia, you literally could be coaching your last 8 games as a head coach in the NFL. I mean, this could be your last 8 games as an NFL head coach. Maybe you say to yourself, you know what, I think it's worth the risk. Let's just at least take a shot in the dark and see if we can somehow pull this guy in and see if he can help us. If he can give us anything, that's great. Anybody else, any kind of another chess piece that I can use is something that maybe we're willing to. And the Lions are in a perfect spot because they have the perfect guy to ask about how he is as a character. Hey, Desmond, what about Takk McKinley? How do you feel about Takk? I mean, this guy played with him for time, right? He could just walk up and say, hey, look, you guys are on the same defense. How do you feel about Takk McKinley? Do you think he'd fit what we like to do? And also, do you like him as a fit for a team? Would he be a problem in the locker room? Would he be someone that hurts us? Or would he be someone that helps us? How talented is this guy? You've seen him face to face for years. That's perfect. You have that guy right there to ask. It's not like you're completely guessing from what you've seen. So that's an advantage. Can't have enough pass rushers. And if we can get it for somewhat of a reasonable price, I'd be interested in trying to make it happen. I really would. Do I see it happening? No. I think someone else snags him very quickly. But he's out there, and it's an opportunity. You don't see a lot of these guys come around. Look at his PFF grades over the years. It's over 60 every year, 67.5, 61.5, 67, 69.8, his highest this season in limited amount of snaps, 17 6 sacks, 18 7 sacks, 19 3.5 sacks, over 10 quarterback hits in all 3 of those years. This season he just hasn't played much because of injuries, and his role's just been decreased. But you can just see the explosion when he gives the opportunity. I think I'd be willing to make this happen. I think I'd be willing to at least try to bring him in. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not expecting it to happen. So let me know your thoughts, comments below. Would you be interested in trying to bring in Takk Mckinley? Thank you, Brad, for watching, and I'm out. Are you kidding me right now? I had to put my helmet on for this one. Are you kidding? Look at this. Look at all these members. What? Yo, hey. Shout out to all the members, man. Look how many All-Pro members there are. Like, literally, it's the whole screen, dog. This is crazy. The patrons, of course, the Hall of Fame members, man. Y'all got the gold color. It's kind of yellow, but it's supposed to be gold. Shout out to all the members, man. If you want to be a part of this, all you got to do is join the channel. But there are perks that come with it. Stay locked in the community tab if you are a member, because that's where a lot of information comes out. I appreciate all of you. What?